How's it going, YouTube? Mark from Like Minded Lunatics coming at you with a Monday music matchup, and I'm excited for this one. But before we get to that, first, let me say thank you to all the folks who have been adding us as subscribers. We love building this family here on YouTube, and we appreciate your support. If you've not hit the subscribe button, let me encourage you to do so. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out here at Like Minded Lunatics a whole lot. Additionally, we're not just a YouTube channel. We have a TV show in the Austin market that airs every Friday night at 10 p.m. All the information for how to stream that is in the description of every one of our videos, and let me encourage you to check out some of our other playlists, not just the music reactions. My writing partner Todd Wright does a segment we call Drink, Play, Swear. It's a fantastic segment where he drinks, tries to play an aggravating video game as he tells you a story. You don't have to know anything about games to make it fun. You can check that out right over here. Okay, so today what I thought we would do is Post Malone made waves when he did this fundraiser and played a lot of Nirvana. Now, I know who Post Malone is primarily because of Hot Ones. His type of music that he makes, and I looked it up. I've heard some of his stuff before, like the song that was in Spider-Man and stuff like that, but it's not for me. It doesn't dial in for me. You know what I mean? And I thought a lot about it. And this is an imperfect analogy, but I think one of the things about the type of music Post Malone typically makes that isn't appealing to me is that I'm a huge fan of music that is like a firework display. Right, it's external from your body. It's an expression of somebody's maybe mental, where they're at mentally or their emotional standpoint, but it's like an external boof that you watch. I love instrumentation and voices and things like that. Whereas I feel like some of the more beat-driven music, like Post Malone typically does, to me that feels like maybe a sonic room that you sit in and surrounds you and you're part of it. And for me, I like the explosive external art, not the art that I live in. And again, it's an imperfect analogy, but I think he's a cool guy. Every interview I've seen with him, he seems like just a all-around cool dude. So I thought we'd take a look at this. He said in an interview with Stern that he asked Francis Bean for permission to do this, which I thought was a really sweet, cool thing to do. So let's go back in time first and take a look at Nirvana's "Come As You Are" from a live performance in 1992 in Reading, I believe. Here we go. Nirvana. Do it, boys. I'll stop it right there. Nirvana hit me hard, y'all. I was at that age, that perfect age. I was part of Gen X, part of that kind of movement away from the glam rock, what would later be called cock rock, and that movement that would be from the glam rock to grunge, and boy, grunge caught me hard, you know? And one of the things that I started to realize as I got older and started doing more studying is that grunge is really an existential movement. I don't think the players of grunge, I know the players of grunge did not call themselves grunge. They thought they were either playing punk or rock or metal. And they certainly would not have called themselves existentialists. But if you read it from a literary perspective, the art they're creating is 100% existential pieces of art. They are positing that our existence precedes our essence, that we define who we are, that we are stuck in the muck, and it's our job to pull ourselves out. There is no external force that's waiting to save us. And the only reason we are in this muck is because we created it. And it's up to us to get ourselves out. And this song, "Come As You Are," I think is a perfect a perfect piece of art that represents that existential struggle. And I've always loved this song. I've always loved it. So I'm excited to see what Post Malone does with it. I pulled up, let's see, he's got Nick Mack on the other guitar, Brian Lee supporting on bass, and then Travis Barker from Blink-182 hitting the skin. So let's see what Post Malone does with Come As You Are.
This song is called Come As You Are.
I'm going to stop it before we get to Post's lyrics. So far, pretty one-to-one cover, isn't it? They're not doing anything wonky with it. They're playing this thing right down the middle. And one of the things that I've had a problem with in the past when folks cover grunge is that grunge is an imperfect musical genre. You can hear the pops, you can hear the speakers, you can hear the strings. There's none of that overproduction pulling stuff out. And when they couldn't, they didn't have the ability to do it nor the money. But I also think that it's just an expression of our being, right? You know, grunge it's called that because you can hear everything, every screw up you can hear. And I feel like that is an expression of our essences, right? Of our existence as imperfect beings. All right, let's hear Post.
Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be, as a friend, as I know they honor me. Take your time, hurry up, the choice is yours, don't be late. Take a risk, as a friend, as I know memory.
Wow. You know, when I listened to Miley Cyrus cover the Zombie, or cover the Cranberry Zombie, you can watch that here. My first reaction was, why the hell hasn't she been doing this the whole time? And I get it. Like, these genres that I like are not to everyone's liking. I understand that. Boy, his voice is made for this, ain't it? It is made for this. And what is that song that he did on Spider-Man? Is it The Wallflower? Whatever. I can't remember. But the stuff that I've heard of Post Malone when I was kind of mild prep for this, super produced, which is not a bad thing. Again, that's the conventions of the genre, but super produced, super processed. You can hear compression, you can hear all those things on his voice. And to me, it takes the life out of a voice. And again, my personal opinion, if you like that processing stuff, I am not coming after you. I want you to be able to find the music that unlocks your emotion. If that's what it does for you, perfect. But for me, it does not. God damn, you can hear everything in his voice, can't you? And I love the way that he's holding the notes. Let's go back a little bit and I'll point out some of the places that I think he is really just doing a great job. And I love that he's not doing a one-to-one on Kurt. You can't do a one-to-one on Kurt, and he's not. That warble and the whir, beautiful. And then as the whoa, he comes up on it. And the known enemy is the same. Known, and he comes up. Boy, that yours is good, isn't it? Let's hear that again. My goodness, he's killing this song, ain't he? Again, I love the fact that it does feel like an expression of his soul and not a one-to-one recreation of Kurt. I love that. All right, let's go back over to Nirvana and sit with them in Reading in 92 again. You know, in this, I think folks forget how hard it was to figure out what the hell Kurt was singing at some point. And I think that was part of the allure, was that glam rock and even metal to some degree had become so engineered that everything was crystal clear. We had lost all of that emotion that punk and early metal had. And then here comes grunge. And when he sings Soaked in Bleach on the original version, that was hard as hell to understand. Kind of like the bridge in Teen Spirit when he's singing an albino, a mosquito. You're like, what is he singing about? And I think that was part of the allure, is that you could feel this was a real emotional revelation. But what is he revealing? and that's part of existentialism, is that sometimes we may not understand what we're feeling and stuff like that. Let's go back a little.
Yes, I want you to be as a friend, as a trend. Yes, I know that when I
We get to his solo. I'll back up a little bit. That I don't have a gun, I swear I don't have a gun. How prophetic and prescient and sad that line is. It's one of the reasons I've not covered a lot of grunge on this channel, is because it's still just too painful, if I'm being honest. But that line, I swear I don't have a gun. At the time, Columbine was still huge. We had all of this, like we still do. We had all this fear of disaffected youth using guns to terrorize other people. And at the time, it felt like that's what he was singing about. I don't have a gun. I'm not here to terrorize folks. I never really read it that way, though. It always felt like, to me, I don't have a gun. I'm not going to shoot myself. That's what it felt like. And obviously, that's what it turned out to be, right? Oh, God. Let's go back to Post. I think the only criticism I have, and it's a mild one, is I think they've sped it up a little bit. I think their BPM's a little too fast, especially for the verses. I feel like those verses should sit a little slower, more contemplative until we get the from the drums. But other than that, boy, they're doing a great job. Oh boy, let's back up. I was talking over that. See, here's what I appreciate. The Soaked in Bleach, the way he's singing it does not sound like Kurt. Kurt's is unintelligible to me half the time. But the way it's out, man, again, an expression of someone's soul. And I feel like it is. And even though he didn't write it, it feels like he's using it to express it. We're about to come to the solo here, so we'll see what Post does with it after we watch Kurt do the solo. All right, here we go. Let me back Kurt up a little bit. such a simple solo, right? It's deceptively simple. I feel like it's kind of like AC/DC in that way. It's deceptively simple because you look at it and you go, oh, well, that's just three places on the fretboard that he's doing over and over. It's kind of first he goes up and then he comes back down. That's all he's doing. But try it. Try to get that exact tone. Try to get that exact feeling that Kurt is getting. Try to be as both precise and sloppy as he's being. And I don't use sloppy in a pejorative way. Like he's hitting it and then sometimes he's super precise. That's clearly an artistic choice. What a beautiful solo that is. All right, let's see Post. I'll back it up a little bit. I think I heard a pinched harmonic in there, and Kurt clearly does not do that. That's kind of that would have been a glam rock thing, a Mick Mars thing that Kurt probably would have avoided at all costs. Let's back up a little bit. Right there, he hits a pinched harmonic, doesn't he? I know people who don't give a shit about guitar don't care, but... He's also playing it differently. He's playing it down there near the 10th fret as opposed to walking down the fretboard. Oh boy, let's go back to 92. My goodness. All right, let's let Post finish up. And he's putting a warble in that Memoria, isn't he? Yeah. He's putting a warble in there that's not in the original. That's a fascinating choice there, isn't it? Wow, what a performance. You know, only two mild criticisms, not even criticisms. One, that I think they sped up the verses just a little bit too much. I would have loved to have seen just a little bit more of a sitting and more contemplative feel. And then at the end, I always love the end of Nirvana's where they just sit on that last note, highly distorted, and they just sit on it. And then they posted like an actual little ending to it that I don't think the original had. Yeah, and then he kills it. Man, what a performance, right? And you know, it's one of those things that, like I said, I haven't covered a lot of grunge on the channel simply because it's too painful. I always tell my students that, you know, the hero of the boomers, John Lennon, the hero of the progressive movement of the boomer generation, he was taken out by a madman because of his idealistic lyrics. My heroes killed themselves, from Cobain to Cornell to Scott Weiland. I mean, Weiland OD'd, but come on, that was it was a suicide. They killed themselves. That's painful as hell. And they sang about how they were hurting, not about why society should be better, but why society is bad and why we're hurting from it. Painful. But boy, Post did this song justice, didn't he? If I had, for my money, I think this might be one of the best covers of a grunge song I may have ever heard. And this is coming from a guy who feels like grunge changed his musical outlook. Wow. Just like Miley, I wish he would do more of this. You know, if he did like a whole concert set of this, I would buy tickets immediately. Not that I don't like his music now. It just doesn't have that key that unlocks my emotion. It just doesn't have that. But this, boy, oh boy, this does. Well, let me know in the comments what you think. Remember, you can be critical and disagree with me without being a jerk. So if you want to add your comments, make sure you're nice. Just picture yourself in my house. You want to come in and have a drink, you can disagree with me, but don't be a dick. Leave me some comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please check out some of our other content. And take care of yourselves, folks. And I'll see you soon.